In a huge matchup that would likely determine the winner of the division, that also had playoff seeding implications, the San Francisco 49ers absolutely crushed the Seattle Seahawks in their home stadium for the third time in the last 5 years. Welcome to Josh's Football Breakdowns, where we don't tell you what you're seeing, we let the film tell us what we're seeing. And what we saw on Thanksgiving night was a team that wasn't there necessarily to settle a score, but was there to execute. And with their outstanding array of playmakers, they definitely did that. The Seattle Seahawks were committed throughout the game to preventing San Francisco from gaining the edge. So when the 49ers call a run with Christian McCaffrey here, we can see the linebackers for Seattle reacting. But the blocking of John Feliciano and Colton McKivitz was excellent, opening up the cutback lane for Christian McCaffrey. The play gains 27 yards and puts the 49ers in a position to score early in this game. And check out Kyle Juszczyk here. The Seahawks have left him completely alone, instead choosing to double-team Brandon Ayuk. That's how dangerous Brandon Ayuk has become. And all game long, Seattle made the decision to take away the end zone. But in the middle of the field, we see Bobby Wagner is set up to the inside. So Deebo Samuel goes to the outside. And the ball is right on the money. And here Kyle Shanahan gets in his bag early with regards to how he's using his personnel. He splits Christian McCaffrey out wide and puts Deebo Samuel in the backfield. And I want to be clear, I have a lot of respect for Bobby Wagner, who I think is a future Hall of Famer. But here, he's just staring blankly into the backfield. I think maybe he's concerned about a possible shovel pass to Christian McCaffrey, and he seems completely unaware that the ball has already been handed off to Deebo Samuel. Touchdown 49ers, and that entire first drive just seemed too easy. I think Wagner's vision was obstructed by the blocking in front of him. And check out Christian McCaffrey, doing a good job of carrying out this fake, pretending like he's about to receive a shovel pass, and by the time Bobby Wagner realizes it, it's already too late. So the 49ers take a 7-0 lead, and you could easily make the argument that over the past several years, San Francisco has been the better of two teams. But one area where Seattle has consistently had an advantage is special teams, and just look at this blocking. A hat on a hat here. Just look at that lane Eskridge has to run through. But here, I want to highlight the effort of Darrell Luter Jr., who runs down Eskridge and makes a big play in this game early, saving a touchdown for the 49ers. Nevertheless, the Seahawks get the ball with excellent field position, and Geno Smith sees that he has DK Metcalf one-on-one with Mooney Ward. And Ward breaks up the pass. On third down, the 49ers send a blitz. And here we can see Ward has moved to the other side of the field. He's following DK Metcalf. He's not just playing on one side. And he's set up with inside leverage on this play. But DK's route calls for him to go to the inside, so Ward is able to undercut the route. And Ward nearly comes down with the interception. What a dangerous throw from Geno Smith. So Jason Myers is going to attempt a field goal for Seattle. And he knocks it through. The error on special teams only cost San Francisco 3 points, but it makes the score 49ers 7, Seattle 3. And when San Francisco gets the ball back, Seattle gets creative on defense, rushing with Jamal Adams and dropping the linebacker Maffey back into coverage. And what's interesting to me about this is Seattle rushes to the side that San Francisco has 3 eligible receivers on. But George Kittle stays in the block, picking up Jamal Adams, so maybe it will end up working out for Seattle. But as the play develops, we can see that linebacker Jordan Brooks has a lot to think about here. First of all, he's got to make sure that Kittle does indeed stay in the block. He's also got to keep an eye on Christian McCaffrey. If McCaffrey runs like a Texas route, for instance, he'll be responsible for it. So he doesn't go with Deebo Samuel. Instead, he just kind of hangs back in the middle of the field here. And check out Bobby Wagner. He does head over there initially, but he feels Juwan Jennings coming across, so he also hangs back. And finally, we see Tariq Woolen is also worried about Christian McCaffrey, so he doesn't get any depth, meaning the only one left to stop Deebo Samuel is the safety. And it's a great read and a great throw by Brock Purdy. It's another one of those throws that looks like there's 4 defenders around him, but Brock knows exactly what he's doing. Now watch as San Francisco comes up and then quick snaps the ball, something you don't see very often in Seahawks Stadium due to the noise. Well, here the 49ers fake the handoff to Christian McCaffrey, and we see the strong safety, Julian Love, sprint up to the line of scrimmage. He's obviously responsible for him. And I think maybe what was going to happen on that play was he would hang back, trying to show maybe a deeper look, and then come up to the line of scrimmage late. Maybe after San Francisco put some people in motion or made some changes at the line, but the 49ers quick snap the football, so now he has to scramble, and he actually ends up colliding with his own man, and Brandon Ayuk comes wide open down the field. I think it was only the presence of the deep safety that prevented this from being a 55-yard touchdown to Brandon Ayuk. At the bottom of the screen, we can see Devin Witherspoon is playing a zone defense. But due to the calamity that's taking place on the other side of the field, there's nobody to pick up, again, Deebo Samuel. And it's another great throw from Purdy, and I think it was about this point in the game that Collinsworth mentioned the 49ers were doing whatever they wanted on offense to the Seattle Seahawks. As the drive continues, the 49ers do put a man in motion on this play. And remember what we said earlier, the Seahawks were totally committed in this game to preventing the 49ers from gaining the edge. As a result, the linebackers run themselves out of the play. George Kittle accidentally trips on his own man, but his presence alone is enough to prevent Boyd Maffey from engaging on this play, meaning Devin Witherspoon is the only player left that might be able to make a play on Christian McCaffrey. Juwan Jennings runs over to take care of him, but I want you to watch Jennings on this play. All kinds of stuff there, possibly an illegal block in the back, definitely holding late, and the officials decide to penalize Juwan Jennings for holding on the play. Penalties are drive killers, so the 49ers would punt back to the Seattle Seahawks. But fate is not without a sense of irony, and this time it's Geno Smith tripping over the running back, and the ball is downed at the 1-yard line. It's not a safety, but it's enough yardage lost that the Seahawks really have no chance of converting this for a first down, especially backed up, and they in turn punt back to the 49ers. Now, one thing we saw throughout this game was even on the possessions where San Francisco wasn't able to score, they totally controlled the field position. And here, they pick up right where they left off, going back to Christian McCaffrey. From this angle, we get a great look at how the motion of Deebo Samuel moves Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner out of the way. But it does look like Tariq Woolen is set up to make the stop on the play. But Christian McCaffrey is a special player. He sees Woolen waiting for him there, and he sells that he's going to the outside for as long as possible and then makes the cut at the last possible second. But 2 plays later, San Francisco would be faced with a key third down. And here, Brock Purdy has Jennings, but you can see he's winding up, and just like we talked about in the Jacksonville game, he can't throw it to where Jennings is. He has to throw it to where he's going to be. This is a difficult throw, and he's standing on the far hash and has to get it all the way outside the numbers. And the ball is right on the money, and Witherspoon can't bring him down, and Brown and Woolen bounce off each other, and Witherspoon still can't bring him down, and Jennings gets the first down. Wow. One play after that, we would see another special play, and this was the first of what I think was 2 MVP-type plays from Brock Purdy in the game. Here we see Bobby Wagner, and he's got 2 guys ready to block him, George Kittle and John Feliciano. So Wagner uses his experience. He goes right at George Kittle, and at the last second, throws in this spin move to come free to the quarterback. And in dire states, Brock Purdy, I don't even know how he managed to do this. He flips this ball out to George Kittle, who takes it for a 1-yard gain on the play. What should have been a big sack and a big loss, we instead see Brock Purdy's escapability and his magic. Getting the ball to George Kittle, again, if this were anybody else, MVP type play right there, to make it 3rd and manageable for the 49ers, which they would convert due to a Seattle penalty. And on the first play of the second quarter, Christian McCaffrey would punch it in, putting the 49ers up 14-3 and giving everybody the feeling pretty early on that this was going to be San Francisco's night. This time it's Julian Love set up to the outside, but Christian McCaffrey knows to just turn straight upfield and follow his blockers. So the Seahawks take over, really needing to get going on offense now, but you won't believe what happens on the very next pass play. Ambry Thomas displays some great technique here. He sees Geno Smith winding up to throw this football and immediately breaks on the pass route. Interception, and the 49ers are just steamrolling the Seahawks early in this game. Could Ambry Thomas be vulnerable to the double move? Well, it's hard to see that happening with this kind of pressure in the backfield. And I love this guy on the Seattle Seahawks sideline. He's the only one trying to convince the officials that this wasn't an interception. But the 49ers would have to punt back to the Seahawks, and Mitch Wishnowsky gets off a great one here, pinning Seattle at the 2-yard line. In fact, both punters displayed excellent technique on the night. This was really an excellent battle between the two of them. With Christian McCaffrey having such a great game, the 49ers decide to fake it to him, and this holds Jamal Adams, allowing Brandon Ayuk to blow right by him. But 2 plays later, the 49ers would be facing a key 3rd down and 9. The Seahawks start with a 2 safety look, but Julian Love creeps up to the line of scrimmage to defend Christian McCaffrey. An interesting choice on 3rd down and 9. This leaves George Kittle one-on-one with Jamal Adams. And George Kittle just out-physicals him. Jamal Adams is just getting worked in this game. But 2 plays later, after a terrific pass breakup by Devin Witherspoon, the 49ers would be faced with another 3rd down on this drive. And the Seahawks start with 7 men up at the line of scrimmage. But these 2 defenders are going to drop back. And Darrell Taylor is going to pretend to blitz and then drop back in a somewhat feeble attempt to try to take this route away from Deebo Samuel. Now this only works if the pass rush gets home, which it very nearly does. But Brock Purdy feels the pressure and climbs the pocket. He just has to wait for Deebo Samuel to come open. Now, it is worth noting that Bobby Wagner is remarkably flat-footed here. If Brock Purdy had just a little bit more time in the pocket, he might have been able to get this ball to Brandon Ayuk for the touchdown. But the pass to Deebo Samuel on 3rd and 7 is completely acceptable here. And on the very next play, the 3rd down conversion would pay off when Christian McCaffrey puts up an all-time touchdown run. Seeing nothing initially, Christian McCaffrey fakes like he's going to completely reverse his field, getting Maffey to react, and then utilizes the cutback. He's so talented, he creates space for himself. Quandre Diggs can't bring him down. Brown once again bounces off his own man, and Diggs still can't bring him down before McCaffrey goes into the end zone. Touchdown, 49ers. Jake Moody knocks through the extra point, and the 49ers go up 21-3 in the first half. Facing a 3rd down on their next possession, San Francisco continues to smother the Seattle Seahawks, sacking Geno Smith on 3rd down. And here we see an unusual formation for the San Francisco defensive line. Nick Bosa is lined up at the defensive tackle position, and Javon Hargrave is lined up at the edge. Chase Young, who's lined up at the other tackle position, rushes to the inside, in essence, punching a hole for Javon Hargrave. With just 2 minutes to go before the end of the first half, the 49ers would punt back to Seattle. But DJ Dallas would muff the kick, and it would be recovered by Ronnie Bell. It's considered a muff because DJ Dallas never had possession of the football first, otherwise it would be a fumble. And here we see what a colossal error DJ Dallas made, trying to pick up the football instead of just falling on it. It would lead to an easy field goal for the 49ers, who would extend their lead to 21 points. But with just 4 seconds to go before halftime, Seattle would put themselves in a position to attempt a long field goal attempt. But check out Stone Forsythe here, who's acting more like Stone Cold Steve Austin, upending Javon Kinlaw. That would be a 15-yard personal foul penalty that would be enforced on the first play of the third quarter. And to make matters worse, Myers misses the kick for Seattle, meaning the score remains San Francisco 24, Seattle 3. Trying to get something going in the third quarter, Geno Smith again tries a one-on-one shot to DK Metcalf against Mooney Ward. And Ward is able to easily defense the pass, shutting down DK Metcalf for virtually the entire game. On third down, Nick Bosa would make use of his speed and his bend to bring down Geno Smith, putting an end to the Seahawks drive. Now, on this channel, we like to talk about unique and interesting football situations. And here, the Seattle punter, Michael Dixon, would like a little more room to punt, so he intentionally takes a delay of game, which San Francisco declines. Nevertheless, Dixon is still able to put this ball right at the 4-yard line, an outstanding punt, and it would pay dividends. Backed up against their own goal line, Brock Purdy changes the play at the line of scrimmage. But Seattle was disguising their defense, so when he looks to his left, he doesn't like what he sees. He comes back to his right and focuses on Christian McCaffrey. Now, he might have had George Kittle wide open on the play, but Brock, maybe hearing the clock tick in his head because he's standing in the middle of the end zone, just decides to dump this ball off. Tipped again, intercepted, and returned for a touchdown. Purdy is only in his second year in the NFL. You knew he was going to have a pick six at some point, and here it was. And the Seattle Seahawks would get the ball back. With momentum starting to turn in the game, the 49ers decide to send a blitz, leaving just one safety back deep. And this would leave the Seattle slot receiver JSN one-on-one against Deommodore Lenoir. Now I've highlighted the ball here because it's a little bit hard to see, but it looked as if it was going to be overthrown. I bet when Geno Smith threw this football, he thought, oh darn, I've overthrown him. But watch JSN make a spectacular one-handed catch to save the play. Lo and behold, on 3rd and goal, Seattle finds themselves threatening to make this into a real ball game. But for the 3rd game in a row, we see for the 49ers an outstanding combination of excellent pass coverage and a strong pass rush, bringing Geno Smith down yet again on a critical 3rd down. And Seattle is forced into a bitterly short field goal attempt. They knock it through to make it 24-13, but these would be the final points Seattle would score in the ballgame. Let's move ahead to the 4th quarter. In crunch time, San Francisco would start a drive to put the game away, and with Seattle committed to defending the edge, Christian McCaffrey is the one that would finally break through, but not the way you think. He doesn't go around to the outside. Instead, he makes use of the hole to the inside first before bouncing, taking advantage of excellent blocks by George Kittle and Aaron Banks. Brock Purdy would end up throwing the dagger quite literally here. We see Charlie Warner releasing late. The idea may have been to draw up Quandre Diggs, but Diggs has already gotten tremendous depth on this play, and Shanahan thought it would take away this route to Brandon Ayuk. But here, Brock Purdy makes what I consider to be the second MVP play of the game. This is an MVP throw from Brock Purdy. Dime. And what a throw by Brock Purdy. It's a 28-yard strike that puts the final nail in the coffin for the Seattle Seahawks. Jake Moody made all of his kicks in this game, and the 49ers go up 31-13. That would be your final score, but I've got two more plays to show you, so bear with me. Fighting desperately, the Seahawks are facing 4th and inches here, and I mean just inches. But Geno Smith is in the shotgun here. Charbonnet sees he doesn't have anything here, so he tries to bounce, but Nick Bosa is having none of it. Bosa makes the tackle, and Fred Warner lays the hit, and it's a huge 4th down stop for the 49ers. And it puts the 49ers right on the cusp of ending the game. San Francisco ices it by going to their bread and butter, faking the run to one side and sneaking a receiver out to the other side, Ray McCloud. Nice throw on the run by Brock Purdy, and it ends the game. And that'll about do it for us here on Josh's Football Breakdowns. The win puts the 49ers at 8-3 in total command of the NFC West, and they move into the 2 seed in the conference. And they have a chance to potentially move into the 1 seed next week at Philadelphia. 49ers are finding their form right when football is in its crucial stages in November and December. Folks, I hope all of you had a happy Thanksgiving. It was a tremendously fun time here in the Pacific Northwest. For those of you who don't know, I actually live just outside the Seattle area, and I got a chance to meet with a few other awesome 49er content creators, Mr. Jonnydel and Mr. Jonnydel Chapman, at the 49ers Rush Party before the game started. So that was definitely something super cool for me to do, to actually see those guys in person and shake their hands and talk to them. And they're just tremendously good people. And if you have a chance to attend one of the 49ers Rush Parties, I highly recommend that you do so. It was a really, really good time. All right, we're going to take about 10 days off on this channel, as are the San Francisco 49ers, a much-needed rest before they head in to Philadelphia in one of the key games for this season. But the 49ers are in great shape. They look great. They are playing great. They're playing some of the best football in the NFL right now, and they look really, really good. All right, if you're one of the people who have gone the extra mile to help support this channel, I want to take a minute here and thank you personally, because I could not do this without you. This helps me to take the time to give you the quality that you deserve. So thank you very much. I say it every week because it's true every week. You guys humble me. You honor me. Folks, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. All right, it's going to be Niners and Eagles next week. I don't know what's going to happen in that game, but you know we are going to be here to break down that film, and I will see you guys then.